Cincinnati fought from behind, scoring twice and securing a win at Toronto. Tonight, they look for 3 more points when Wilmington comes to town. Good evening and welcome to Nippert Stadium on the campus of the University of Cincinnati. Tom Glatter, happy to be alongside University of Rio Grande All-American Kevin McCloskey as we get you set for FC Cincinnati's 3rd home match of the season. In the first 2, they've gotten a goal from their defender, Austin Berry, who's also the captain. And Kevin, tonight, he is not available. A quad strain yesterday in training and a tough break for John Harkes.
It is. You know, obviously, Austin brings a lot of experience to the side. He's been fantastic in the first set of games. So that's going to be a blow. They're going to have to adjust a little bit without his presence at the back.
So he'll bring in another center back. And who is that? Well, Paul Nicholson, a University of Rio Grande product that you're very familiar with.
Paul's been in this league for a long time, so he's a little bit of a veteran. He's a defensive-minded player, so he's going to be able to go in there, play out of the back as well, and he's a very physical player, so he's going to be able to set a tone in that position.
One area the club has gotten a ton of consistency from is that front line, the forwards, Sean Okoli, Andrew Wiedemann, Jimmy McLaughlin. Those 3 can hurt you. How do you defend them?
It's very, very hard. You know, the movement that they have in the attacking third. I think one guy, too, with Corbin Bone really links the 3 together. And it's tough. You know, they're making inside runs. They're combining to get in behind the defenders. So it's going to be a tough job for Wilmington tonight to handle these 3.
Oh, John Harkes will put out a new starting 11 tonight. We'll show it to you when we return. We'll also check in on the weather for the first time and head down to the field. This is FC Cincinnati Soccer. Back at Nippert Stadium, Tom Glatter alongside Kevin McCloskey on a gray and wet evening. Let's go down to the pitch for the first time tonight. The 3rd member of our broadcast team is Lindsay Patterson, who's trying to stay dry. Good evening.
Guys, we've had different weather conditions out here for each match, from the cold opener to near 80-degree temperatures. Tonight, it's a little slick with that mist in the sky. You can feel it out here. A chance of rain showers for the whole match. But I had a chance to talk to some of the coaches and players, and they say you prepare for this kind of stuff, so they're used to it. And it actually helps the new surfaces when you play on it.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Certainly something to keep an eye on tonight, and I know that players like a slick surface. Tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by your local Toyota dealers, where you can start your next adventure in the first ever RAV4 Hybrid. At 34 MPG City, you can go over 500 miles on a tank of gas. First for FC Cincinnati, as we told you, a new starting 11 tonight. Into the starting lineup is Paul Nicholson. He will start at center back. Austin Berry is out, and Francisco Narbonne will dress for the first time at the other end. For the Wilmington Hammerheads, goalkeeper John Smits. He's the only member of the Hammerheads that has played every single minute this season, a veteran in goal, allowing less than a goal per match. So we'll keep an eye as it goes along. Kevin, remember the Hammerheads, a squad that last year only won 3 matches. They've already won 2 this season, but maybe an opportunity for FC Cincinnati tonight to pick up 3 more points.
I think so. Wilmington are probably a team in transition. You know, they brought in some players. You'll see a guy called Liam Miller, a very experienced player that played in the Premiership and the Scottish Premiership. So, you know, I think they're going to be a lot better than last season, but it'll be a good challenge for FC Cincinnati tonight.
Wilmington will be in their white road kits, white shorts, white socks, white tops, with dark numbers on the back. FC Cincinnati, this is their third match at Nippert Stadium in their traditional home blue kits with the white and orange on the front, blue shorts, blue socks with the white numerals on the back. Sean Coley and Corbin Bone will stand over at midfield. And FC Cincinnati will control first. And we expect, Kevin, maybe to see, it's been a 4-3-3. John Harkes told me this morning it would be a 4-3-3 today, but they may adjust the shape a little bit without their captain, Austin Berry.
Yeah, it might end up being a 4-2-3-1 with probably Berry and Tomaselli just screening the back two. But they'll probably have the same attacking tendencies out of, with their wing backs getting forward and supporting their wingers.
First ever match between FC Cincinnati and Wilmington is underway on a rainy night at Nippert Stadium. Wilmington knocks it out on the far touchline. Throw-in coming for FC Cincinnati right at the offensive third. Tyler Polak will toss it in to Sean Coley. Coley has had a few spectacular goals already in the young season. 3 wins so far for FC Cincinnati in 5 matches. 2 losses, 1 at home to Louisville City the last time FC Cincinnati was here at Nippert.
You can see straight away FC Cincinnati are trying to press high. They're attacking with numbers, and even in that transition there with Wilmington's defense, they're pressing. So it's a good sign that they want to start fast. They want to play in Wilmington's half and take it to them.
Even if there's a change in the starting 11 for John Harkes, there isn't going to be a change very much in the style. They're going to come out, they're going to come after you and try to put one in the back of the net quickly.
Absolutely. That's going to be an attacking philosophy. Obviously, we've seen this, especially with the home games. Right now, Tyler Pollock is going in. He's in a 2v1 against the fullback. From here, we've got numbers up, and it's going to be attack, attack, attack.
Corbin Bone will send it into the box, well defended by Wilmington. Comes all the way out to Pat McMahon, who will knock it up the near touchline. Sean Coley trying to track it down. It goes out. Piabo Due did a great job of screening out Sean Coley and not letting him get to the ball to keep it alive.
You can see even with the defensive shape right here from the throw-in, they're probably trying to trap Wilmington, win the ball back in possession, and from there hopefully get a play in their attacking third.
Dewey threw it in. FC Cincinnati able to regain possession. Wiedemann does a great job keeping it in play along the touchline. He had Jimmy McLaughlin, who whiffed on it. McLaughlin couldn't finish. Walker picks it up. Polak there to deflect it away. Corbin Bone off to his right. It is well defended by Wilmington, sent out into the midfield, and picked up by Harrison Delbridge.
I would expect Wilmington as well to probably sit in, and kind of soak up a little bit of pressure, and maybe try to hit FC on the counter-attack if they can.
Here comes Cudis Lawal. Lawal fighting in the corner with Harrison Delbridge, and it's Lawal who touches it last. It goes out of bounds, and FC Cincinnati will take over. But a nice run there as Cudis Lawal gets Wilmington into the offensive third for the first time.
Probably playing as a lone striker too, so I think he's going to have a lot of work on his own, trying to hold up for possession and hope that Wilmington can get into the attacks to support.
In talking to the FC Cincinnati coaching staff this week, they certainly expected to see Wilmington to sit back and wait, look for the right opportunities to strike and push forward. Remember, both of the home matches so far this year for FC Cincinnati, they've tallied a goal in the first 6 or 7 minutes. It was Austin Berry against Louisville City. It was Sean Coley in the inaugural match back on April 9th.
I think that represents their style again. You talked about how they want to attack. Attacking early is key to any game. You want to try to gain momentum and kind of go forward. If they can get a lead, then they've got that edge for sure.
Well, we're already into the 4th minute and have seen a few opportunities in the offensive third for FC Cincinnati. McLaughlin drops it back. Corbin Bone. Bone looking it to his right. Fellow midfielder Ross Tomaselli. Now Tomaselli, Bone, and Nicholson, all 3 played a lot for Wilmington last season. They were regular starters on the Hammerheads. Now all 3 on the other side starting against the Hammerheads.
Yeah, and they've played well. Obviously coming in, they fit into that 11. They're going to bring a lot to this team. A little bit of experience as well for a first team, which is very important.
Smith sends it out into the midfield. Tonight's keys to the match are presented by Toyota. For all Toyota offers, including those not seen on TV, go to Toyota's official website for deals at buyatoyota.com. And Kevin, what are you looking for tonight?
I think the big thing is keeping a clean sheet at home for FC Cincinnati. They've been very attack-minded, but they haven't got that clean sheet at home, which I think will be big. Obviously defensively, it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge with Austin Berry being out tonight. But if they can do that, again, I think they'll set themselves up for a good result. Second thing, I think it's being consistent too. Ryan Martin talked about it during the week practice about not taking plays off. Being able to stay consistent and stay focused on both sides of the ball. I think that's going to be a big thing too. Easier said than done. Obviously, a first-time team where they're still getting to know each other. But I think at home they want to try to make a fortress for this, making it very, very hard for teams to come in.
FC Cincinnati sends out in the midfield, and I'd imagine a consistent 90-minute match could help lead to your first key of that clean sheet.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's one thing, put 45 together, so they're looking at the setup, stay defensively set, and an attack. Obviously try to get something from it for the first 45. They can go in at halftime. They can talk about any adjustments, and then second half, same thing again. Another 45 minutes.
You hear some boos as Jimmy McLaughlin is called for a foul right at midfield. Our match official today is Donovan Nucha, Chris Strickland, James Dooling are the linesmen, and Eric Lott is our fourth official. Ball will be played up the near side touchline, knocked out by Wilmington, so FC Cincinnati will retake control right alongside of their bench, and Pat McMahon, the fullback, will come over to throw it in. McMahon looks in the direction of Andrew Wiedemann. Wiedemann had the game-tying goal on Sunday at Toronto, where FC Cincinnati trailed by a goal in the second half. Wiedemann, who used to be part of Toronto FC's MLS side, had the equalizer, and then it was super sub Omar Cummings coming in as Sean Okoli is cut down. Play on is called for FC Cincinnati. Okoli grabbing his left knee as Jimmy McLaughlin will work outside the box. Leaves it for Tyler Pollock. His shot is deflected out of bounds. A throw in coming. Okoli is now up, walking towards the box. He appears okay, but he went down hard right at midfield.
I think a big thing for FC Cincinnati is to switch the play if they can, switching the point of attack. And then from there, they play into Sean again, which they're going to find him defeat. Looked like a free kick.
And Logan Miller caught the cleat of Sean Okoli as he went down. Meanwhile, nothing going for FC Cincinnati on the throw-in from the far side of the pitch. It ends up in the hands of John Smits, and he will take his time setting up. A Mississauga, Canada native, signed in February with the Hammerheads.
You can see here too with Wilmington, I think they're going to rely a lot on set pieces, even restarts from goal kicks, punts, early service. FC Cincinnati are reacting very well to that. They're coming in, they're tucking their wingers inside so that they can win first and second balls.
Good defensive play by FC Cincinnati to turn it away as Wilmington got to the offensive third. Now quickly trying to counter the other way. Long ball for Wiedemann, about a hair too long. Wiedemann couldn't catch up with it, now trying to regain possession in the corner. And there to pick it up was Bruno Peroni, the defender out of Brazil. At 6'3" from up here, he looks a lot taller than 6'3", does he not?
He's a big dude. He's definitely a big dude.
I'd like to see him next to Harrison Delbridge. I'd say from our broadcast location, it looks like he's taller than Delbridge. They're both defenders, so we may not get to see them tee up against each other much. A shot from just outside the box and a diving save by Mitch Hildebrand. Not a lot of danger there, and FC Cincinnati's goalkeeper there to gobble it up.
No, I think Wilmington are going to pick and choose when they get forward. They're going to probably shoot from distance and kind of some sporadic attacks. So the biggest thing for FC Cincinnati, they've just got to stay switched on. As soon as they go from middle third into attacking third, they've got to wait and see. Right now, this is a prime example. If they can get numbers forward, they've got to be able to deal with it.
Paul Nicholson was trying to play it across the middle. Wilmington able to recover. And Cutis Lawal will knock it off for Liam Miller. Miller played on the Irish national team, signed his first American contract in February, signing with Wilmington and joining the club in the USL. Nice ball into the corner for Michael Meacham, but he can't collect it before it goes out along the end line, and it'll be a goal kick coming up for Mitch Hildebrand, goalkeeper out of Livonia, Michigan. Hildebrand made an appearance on SportsCenter's Top 10 this week with a spectacular save Sunday against Toronto. It was right before Omar Cummings' go-ahead goal, and it really was a double save, a diving save on a brilliant shot, and then a brilliant move by Hildebrand on the follow to grab the ball and keep it right on the end line.
Fantastic save. I think it showed just how kind of agile he is as well. He's obviously a good shot stopper, but to be able to make the first save and recover. And you talked about the ESPN. It seems to be a common theme, which is a good sign. So hopefully we can get some good plays here tonight as well.
2 top 10 plays for this club in the month of April. Looked like Pat McMahon may have gotten an arm on it as it came across midfield. Wilmington wanted a handball. The whistle did not come. McMahon will knock it back to Wiedemann. Over to Kenny Walker. He'll play it into the middle. Sean Coley trying to pick it up. He is knocked down. The official says play will continue as Coley is again slow to his feet. Donovan Nucha not having any of it.
No, he's obviously with his size, he's going to try to impose that. He's not going to let Sean turn and face him up and kind of go towards goal. So anytime that he's back to goal just like that, he's going to give him, a little bit of a challenge.
McMahon challenging Jeff Michaud up the near sideline. Michaud gets away from McMahon, then sliding loses the ball. McMahon picks it up and kicks it over to Ross Tomaselli.
This is, I think, for FC Cincinnati here. Obviously, we talked about Austin Berry being out. The 2 defensive midfielders with Walker and Tomaselli. They're going to have to try to drop in and separate in transition. So instead of being flat, they want to kind of get a little bit angled so they can play out of that pressure and build from that middle third.
Sean Coley finally got the foul call, and we get another look at it. Easy call for the official as Bruno Peroni came over his back.
Yeah, and again, he's gonna be there all night. I think Sean, he does a great job, obviously, is turning as it comes into him. So I think he sold that foul a little bit more too.
Sean Coley's 6'1", Bruno Peroni 6'3". That's 2 big boys in the game of soccer going head to head there, and that's going to be a battle throughout the night.
A lot of sparks for sure.
Peroni sending it up the near touchline. He goes out of bounds. Let's go down to the pitch. Check in with the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Lindsey Patterson.
Guys, some good news. I know we were talking about the weather conditions out here. The good news, the rain has cleared out, and it couldn't come back in the second half, but you can see that ball skipping out there. Some of the guys sliding around, so those wet conditions could be a problem the whole match, even if the rain lets off.
All right, we'll certainly keep an eye on it. It rained all day. Kevin and I have the luxury of being under cover, so Lindsey trying to stay dry and hoping that the rain holds off for the rest of the match. Harrison Delbridge at midfield. Loses it onto the foot of Mael Corbaz.
The rain's not going to, it's not going to hurt this surface any at all. If anything, it probably suits FC Cincinnati. They want to try to move the ball quickly.
Get into the game through the USL social media channels. Follow the USL on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for news, live game updates, and video highlights from across the league. John Smits plays it forward. It ends up on the foot of the other goalkeeper, Mitch Hildebrand, and FC Cincinnati trying to get it back the other way. What's changed here in the last few minutes, Kevin? Is FC Cincinnati not able to push as close to the offensive third as they're used to?
It just seems, you can see it here, where Ross is checking in to get the ball. Now Corbin Bones checking in to get it, but I think for how they're going to play, it's going to change a little bit with having that number 6 position and number 8 where they normally have. They're kind of playing in 2 6s, so they're acting as screens, which means that there's a little bit more space to play into. So they've got to try to find that with Corbin Bone. And even their, Jimmy McLaughlin and Wiedemann coming inside as well to move the ball from defensive third into midfield third.
Corbin Bone working towards the offensive third. If you have just joined us, you've heard us talk quite a bit about Austin Berry not being available. FC Cincinnati's captain out with a quad strain. He is day to day and will be evaluated each day to see when he is available again. Good defense right there by Paul Nicholson as Wilmington had a chance. Cudis Lawal had broken free, and Paul Nicholson getting the start for Austin Berry there to make a play.
And this is the type of pass. They're going to look over the top to try to find him in. As I said, he's going to be playing up as a lone striker, so good job by Paul. Good tackle.
It'll be a corner coming for Wilmington, but it could have been a dangerous free kick if Paul tackles him there.
It's all about timing, with defending. He does well to stay on his feet until he has to make that challenge.
Mael Corbaz will send it into the box on the first corner kick for Wilmington. Headed forward by Peroni. Deflected by Cincinnati. A corner now will come from the other side as Michael Meacham's shot hit Sean Coley and went out along the end line.
This will be, what we talked about Wilmington. I think they're going to play a lot for set pieces, so FC Cincinnati have got to make sure that they set up. Again, they're probably playing in a zone and then man marking, but making sure that they pick up their big players as well. So their centre back, as you can see, stepping up. Sean Coley's marking him man to man. I would imagine that's their target.
Corbaz sends it to the box. It was Mitch Hildebrand punched it away, but it's picked up long by Justin Moose.
I think honestly, Hildebrandt probably or Delbridge probably would be better suited marking him if he can.
It would be a battle of the two largest players out. Let's take another look at the save by Mitch Hildebrandt as it came across. A great look.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's inside of a 6. That's the biggest responsibility for a goalkeeper, to own a 6. He comes out brave through traffic and clears.
They've been a little shook up there as well. Logan Miller was there and looked like he collided with Logan Miller and is grimacing a little bit as he takes his time putting the ball back into play, and he is talking with the match official, so getting a chance to collect his thoughts. We have now turned into the 16th minute at Nippert Stadium, scoreless in the first ever meeting between FC Cincinnati and Wilmington Hammerheads FC. We've talked about the shape quite a bit and how they've made changes, and one of the things that John Harkes likes to do is give these guys the freedom to move around as the flow of the game changes.
Absolutely. You know, this is a situational game. You know, it's not like American football or basketball where there's a lot of play. So every time that, you know, he trusts his players, they get into positions and make decisions.
FC Cincinnati knocks it out along the touchline, just in front of Wilmington's bench. The Hammerheads are led by Mark Briggs in his first season. 34 years old, leading Wilmington. He played for the Hammerheads. He was their assistant coach in 2015, so very familiar with Wilmington and joining the club as the head coach.
So it looks like they've changed, actually. I saw Kenny Walker going over the top with John Harkes. Looks like they're going back into their kind of natural 4-3-3 with maybe him as an 8 and Ross sitting as a 6.
Kenny Walker with a great defensive play and then just missed Sean Acoli making a run at midfield. It was big Bruno Peroni getting in the way. And Wilmington picks it up back at midfield to the far touchline.
Yeah, Sean just checked in there. I think the ball for him at least was over the top, so a little bit of miscommunication. This could be dangerous here.
Wilmington misfires it into the middle of the pitch. Wiedemann will pick it up, dead on to the goal. Looking to his right, lost it. Good defense, shoot, saved by Smits. Wiedemann made something out of it after Wilmington had played great defense. Then Harrison Delbridge steps up in midfield to fire it forward, and Wilmington recovers.
Yeah, Wilmington played a square flat pass, and they stepped up and picked it out.
Ross Tomaselli picks it up on a run, over to the foot of Acoli. Jimmy McLaughlin just outside the 6-yard box, has to pull it outside to the far touchline, and Pollock will send it into the middle. Cincinnati will regroup. Right side, Wiedemann sends it into the middle. Tomaselli steps up, but boy, was that a great opportunity for FC Cincinnati. And Wiedemann, despite great defense, still got a great look, and Smith put a put.
Yeah, you see Wilmington played a square pass. Wiedemann does a great job of reading it, steps into it. They actually had numbers forward. Good tackle by Wilmington, but then again, they've got numbers, so this is a good opportunity for them.
Logan Miller broke it up, and then Smits got his left foot on it. A big strike from Kenny Walker goes high over the goal, and a goal kick coming up for John Smits, the Canadian goalkeeper. Only member of this club that has played every minute this season. 80% save percentage so far, goals against average, under 1 goal per match. And now 15 saves. He did play with FC Edmonton in the NASL from 2012 to 15 and won the Golden Glove in 2014. So
just that last play came up with a big save too.
could have given FC Cincinnati some momentum early. Instead, Wilmington with it at midfield. We remain scoreless now in the 19th minute. Mentioned earlier, Wilmington, 2 wins already this season. They won 3 all of last season. Only returned 6 players from that club. 3 of the guys they didn't return, well, they're over here, wearing blue, orange, and white today of FC Cincinnati. Ross Tomaselli, Corbin Bone, and Paul Nicholson, all 3 starting today, and all 3 playing against their old club.
I think that would impact that current squad too, you know, obviously having those guys with the experience come in to play for FC Cincinnati.
Of course, Paul Nicholson played the most matches of all those 3. 119 appearances with Wilmington over the years. Ball was sent into the middle for Sean Acoli in the box. Headed away by Wilmington. Kenny Walker fighting for it. Back forward to Acoli. Acoli on his left. Defended by Wilmington, they pick it back up. Touch was a bit strong, but recovered, and now Jeff Michaud will send it across the pitch to the far sideline. Meacham onto the foot of Polak for FC Cincinnati, and now Polak looking for Sean Okoli, gets it to him across midfield, and the flag was up. Okoli was offside.
Yeah, good channel ball. I think his timing was a little bit off. He ran across the defender from an offside position. The defender did a good job of obviously stepping up as well.
FC Cincinnati, 5 matches into the season, 3 wins, 2 losses. They lost last time they were at home here at Nippert Stadium to Louisville City, who played a fantastic first half, scoring 3 goals after Austin Berry got a goal in the 6th minute in front of 20,000 here at Nippert Stadium.
I actually watched that game in St. Louis, so it was a little bit different, but
the atmosphere certainly was electric that night. Kenny Walker, a great pickup at midfield. Working into the offensive third. Now to the box. Walker pulling it into the corner. Double teamed. Drops it to Corbin Bone. Outside to Polak. Polak puts his left foot onto it. Over to Andrew Wiedemann. Turns on a shot. Peroni defends it away. And then Pat McMahon is knocked down by Bruno Peroni.
You can see, too, obviously from the change where Kenny Walker is kind of being that more box-to-box midfielder. They're getting more numbers in the attack. From this, Pat McMahon does a good job. First touch in front, and yeah, that's a clear foul.
Pat McMahon had Peroni beat. Bruno Peroni then takes down McMahon in a very dangerous free kick coming up here.
I would think Tyler Pollock with his left foot will deliver. He might even have a chance from here. You know, he may shoot on frame instead of serving in.
This is one of the spots where Austin Berry in his height is helpful. Berry, 6'2". Paul Nicholson just 5'10". Polak will swing it in, headed away. Goes out along the end line, and a corner kick will come for Tyler Polak on the near side.
Looked like his targets were kind of peeling to the back post, and he's got to get over that first defender.
So Polak will bring it over. Harrison Delbridge brings his height forward on corner kicks at 6'4". The Aussie, certainly a great target for FC Cincinnati. Here's Polak with his left foot, looking for Delbridge. Smits knocks it away, now retreating towards his goal. Delbridge got it and gives it off to Jimmy McLaughlin, who'll swing it back into the box. Cleared away by Wilmington out across midfield, and here comes the counter.
This could be a 1v1 situation here.
The Wall with McMahon. The Wall has McMahon fall down. Now he's looking for a foul.
Yeah, it's a penalty.
And it's going to be a penalty kick.
Yeah.
So Pat McMahon drags down Qudis Lawal, and for the 2nd straight home match, we will see a penalty kick for the visitors.
Yeah, took a touch past him and then dragged it back, and obviously with his trailing leg just caught him. It's definitely a penalty.
Do you think it's more the follow, catching him with the back leg and completely knocking him to the ground than the initial contact?
Absolutely. I think Pat was going in to try to win it first time. As he pulls back, then it's kind of tough to put your trailing leg back.
2nd time this season that Mitch Hildebrandt will face a goal kick at that end here at Nippert Stadium, or excuse me, a penalty kick. Qudis Lawal steps to it. Hildebrandt comes up with a big save. How about Mitch Hildebrandt at home save, getting a paw on it?
You can feel the energy straight away. You know, this guy makes massive plays. Another example of a big play for them. The Bailey are loving it.
The toughest play in soccer, defending the penalty kick. Now it's not over, and Bruno Peroni, that quick on the corner kick, sticks it in the back of the net. As fast as the enthusiasm from the save electrocutes the stadium, Hildebrandt gets beat on the set piece from the corner.
Yeah, always dangerous. You know, obviously adrenaline's pumping after the penalty kick. And the big guy does well getting across. I think it was Sean Okoli.
Bruno Peroni, his 2nd goal of the season. I spoke with John Harkes and Ryan Miller yesterday. The talk was about the set pieces, that that's where Wilmington was very good.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you can see from corner kicks, and free kicks. I mean, that's where they're sending their big players up. The center back's going to come up, Peroni, and they're looking at this is something that they obviously work on.
FC Cincinnati trailing 1-0. The goal in the 24th minute by Bruno Peroni on the corner kick. Mayo Corbaz.
It's going to be very important for FC Cincinnati to get back into this attack straight away and take it to them.
Ball played into the middle of the field. Past Cutis Lawal, who had the penalty kick blocked by Hildebrand moments before the goal. What a swing of emotions here at Nippert Stadium.
It's tough. It's tough. You know, obviously going from one big play to conceding a goal, it's always hard, but it just shows you, obviously with Wilmington, they've got to make sure that they're organized defensively and every play counts,
Well, if you remember last time out at Toronto FC2 on Sunday, FC Cincinnati found themselves in a familiar spot, trailing 1-0, 2 second-half goals. Andrew Wiedemann picked up one, then Omar Cummings off the bench picked up the game winner. Here's Sean Coley just outside the box.
This is where Sean wants to get in, faced up against the centre-back Owadam.
Jimmy McLaughlin with a right-footed shot and a diving save. John Smits is there to stop it, but starting to see more opportunities for FC Cincinnati.
Absolutely, yeah. I think with Smits, too, the goalkeeper for Wilmington, it's going to take a lot more probably than this. He's looked very comfortable inside of his goal, but I think if we can continue to get numbers forward and then create some combination play, bound to create a good opportunity.
Already a couple of saves for Smits. McLaughlin turning it back to Paul Nicholson, getting his first start of the season, replacing Austin Berry at that center back position.
Tommy, as you said too, obviously the Toronto game, FC Cincinnati have been in this position a lot, a few times, and it shows great character as well of how this team's made up, to have that mental strength to come from behind and continue to create opportunities.
Ball's played into the corner near sideline. Andrew Wiedemann has it defended away. Throw-in will come for FC Cincinnati. Pat McMahon will put it back into play. Peebo Dewey knocked it out along the touchline. Corbin Bone trying to get to it. Looked like he was fouled, and here comes the late whistle from Donovan Nucha. And a dangerous free kick coming up for FC Cincinnati. About 6 yards outside the box.
Yeah,
it's a clear foul.
No, absolutely.
Corbin Bone gave a little bit back to Liam Miller. You have no problem calling a foul against your fellow Irishman, I see. So that's good. You're fair. Of course,
he's from Cork, so he's a little rougher.
Right. Liam Miller played on the Irish national team, played in the English Premier League. He played with Celtic, a lot of experience overseas. This is his first ever American contract, joining Wilmington in February. Harrison Delbridge and Shauna Coley standing over it, so a bit of a different look. Delbridge hits it with his left foot and sails it over the goal. No trouble for John Smits.
Yeah. Good effort. Obviously he's left-footed. Just try to get it on target. And I think for the FC Cincinnati, they're going to have to try to change it up a little bit on their set pieces, because shooting from 20 yards out, I don't know if it's going to trouble the goalkeeper as much. Maybe a little short play, maybe a through pass and a service. Looking to be a little bit creative on those set pieces.
Smits will get the goal kick, sends it out across midfield. Onto the head of Paul Nicholson, the University of Rio Grande All-American, much like my broadcast partner, Kevin McCloskey, a few years apart were the two of you at the University of Rio Grande.
He's just a little bit younger.
A few years. Nicholson, great experience, 29 years old, out of Whitehaven, England. He was a 2008 All-American. Played the last 5 years with Wilmington, today starting against his old club. 29th minute, Hammerheads on top, 1-0. Ball into the middle, just too long for the foot of Mayo Corbaz.
I'd like to see the fullbacks get up. I know Pat's pushing up here on the right side as well. If Tyler can release a little bit more, to try to create that overload on the outside. But here they're obviously just patiently building up a little bit. If they can find their fullback in this position, it would be good.
Nike is a proud partner of the USL. Follow Nike Soccer, at Nike Soccer on Twitter for all the latest Nike soccer information. Harrison Delbridge almost lost it in the defensive third. Dangerous ball, but a great turn in midfield. And here comes Jimmy McLaughlin.
This is better for him.
Off to the races. And then it is cleared and skied into the stands.
That's exactly what Jimmy wants to do. You know, he's fantastic turning it and going at players. Very hard for a defender too to deal with. You know, he can play back to goal, but you know, turning on that half turn, he's very dangerous.
Quick throw in for FC Cincinnati. They wanted a handball, as it looked like it caught a piece of Jeff Mishad. Whistle did not come from the match official. Throw in instead will come from Pat McMahon in midfield. John Hark's asking where the handball call was. It never came. Kenny Walker picks it up, turns it to the dangerous McLaughlin. McLaughlin forward to Okoli, over to Wiedemann. That trio is just fantastic attacking for FC Cincinnati, and all three of them can hurt you in different ways and at different times. And if you spend too much time worrying about one of them, then certainly the other is going to hurt you.
Yeah, absolutely. They're always going to draw and commit defenders. I think that's what I'm talking about with the fullbacks. If they can get a little bit more width, you know, they're going to be able to suck those Wilmington defenders out and play wide.
The wall went down as Kenny Walker took it away from him. The wall wanted a call. Whistle did not come, and play continues towards the offensive third. Sean Okoli loses it off his foot. Nice turn by Corbaz. Plays it forward onto the right foot of Justin Moose. Moose working along the far touchline. Plays it into the middle. Now back all the way out to midfield, Logan Miller. No relation to Liam Miller. Liam Miller again from Cork, Ireland. As the ball is sent into the box, Tyler Pollock is going to head it backwards. Was trying to get it to his goalkeeper, Mitch Hildebrand, but headed it wide, and a corner kick now coming for Wilmington. Remember, this is where they scored their goal from.
Yeah, they've got to make sure that they pick up Peroni coming in from the back. Not just on first balls too. Second balls are going to be tough, you know, if they can win that first header. So hopefully we can kind of match up size-wise and take care of this threat.
Bruno Peroni has the tally on a corner from the exact same spot as this one is coming. Corbaz sends it in. Headed away, Sean Okoli. Follow and shot wide by Justin Moose. No trouble for Mitch Hildebrand, who will get a goal kick. Peroni with the go-ahead goal in the 24th minute. McMahon at midfield. Good.
This is where we want. You know, you want to be in wide positions now. Got numbers in the box to serve into.
McLaughlin into the middle. Sean Okoli on the header. It didn't move forward. Kind of fell backwards in the box. Then Pat McMahon is cut down. FC Cincinnati wanted a penalty kick. No whistle.
I don't think it was a penalty.
Ball comes out to midfield where Delbridge will pick it up to Pollock.
Here we go. This is better. Starting to get in a rhythm now. Getting numbers forward.
Back out wide. Near side, McLaughlin swings it in again. Headed away by Wilmington. McMahon trying to recover. Wilmington will pick it up and turn it up the pitch as Dewey gets it out to midfield. Kenny Walker there for FC Cincinnati. 33rd minute, Wilmington 1, FC Cincinnati 0.
You can see too, Wiedemann and McLaughlin have switched wings.
There's Wiedemann. McLaughlin now playing on the right side, Wiedemann on the left. Corbin Bone was trying to touch it forward to Wiedemann. Defended and turned the other way by Wilmington. Corbaz. Back to Bruno Peroni. Now to Corbaz, who was fouled by Kenny Walker. I think Corbaz sold it a little bit. Either way, he got the whistle. And a free kick at midfield coming up for Bruno Peroni. Maybe.
I don't know. I think he had body position, honestly. You know, I think he got a. I think that's a good tackle by Kenny Walker.
A little bit of an arm maybe in the back of Corbaz. That's probably what he felt when he fell forward.
Protecting himself.
Right. Either way, foul called on Walker. And Wilmington will knock it around towards their defensive third and over to Bruno Peroni, who will bring it up the near touchline right to the midfield stripe. Forward towards the box. Mitch Hildebrand has to come up to play it off his foot. Justin Moose was there. Dangerous ball for Hildebrand. FC Cincinnati going to try and get something cooking the other way. Tomaselli forward to McLaughlin. Short touch to his right, Pat McMahon. Now back to his left, Kenny Walker.
Yeah, they want to probably stay wide here, honestly. They've got numbers. They can isolate in a 3v1 or even a 3v2 position.
Onto the far side. Pollock with some space. Swings it in with his left foot to Corbin Bone. Shauna Coley is there. Took a swipe at it. May have kicked Jimmy Smits in the head. Smits is on the ground grabbing his head. A great opportunity for FC Cincinnati. No card is called on Shauna Coley, who is trying to get the equalizer.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think the ball's there to be one where he's obviously winds up and tries to hit it, but I think he might have caught the goalkeeper. This is a great ball in by Tyler, by the way. Headed back inside.
Oh. And Shauna Coley just misses it. Really, nothing egregious there as he catches Smits. Smits is down and getting some attention from the trainer. Now, it is important to note, I don't think that John Smits is coming out, but Sam Williams is the backup goalkeeper today. Normally, it's Eric Ati, who was signed in January out of Cameroon. But Sam Williams was signed this week and is dressed as the backup goalkeeper today. So he's up and moving. Is Williams over on the Hammerheads bench, but I don't think that we're going to see Smits come out. I think he's going to take a minute to regroup here. Again, there was contact, but it wasn't anything. No, he didn't take spikes to his face or anything along those lines.
Right. I think it looked, kind of worse from the first shot. I think when you watch the replay, I think he just caught him very, very late. Certainly not enough, full impact at least.
Mark Briggs looking on as his goalkeeper will remain in the match in the 36th minute after a great opportunity. Header knocked down from Corbin Bone right to the foot of Shauna Coley, and Coley just missed it. What would have been the equalizer here for FC Cincinnati. Definitely have seen the home club pick up some momentum in the last 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially from the wide play. Wiedemann and McLaughlin, I think, now are starting to get into positions that they want, 1v1 outside with a lot of space in behind.
Good switch by John Harks. Do you think that's really mixed things up and produced results?
Absolutely. Both players are going to have different tendencies. That one may stay out wide, the other wants to cut inside. So I think it's good. It keeps the fullbacks of the opposite team, obviously Wilmington Hammerheads, guessing as well.
Goal kick coming up for John Smits, 27-year-old goalkeeper for Wilmington, playing his first season with Hammerheads. Paul Nicholson trying to get it away from the wall, who swatted it with his hand. That will be an easy handball whistle for Donovan Nucha. Kenny Walker will resume action, bringing it over to Ross Tomaselli. Harrison Delbridge right at midfield, with the home lads trailing by a goal. Tyler Pollock making a run into the box, sends it into the middle, onto the foot of Jimmy McLaughlin. McLaughlin turns on it, no. Shauna Coley, now Ross Tomaselli, a bouncing ball, and Smits dives and gobbles it up.
Yeah, they're going to they're going to create opportunities. I think it's just being composed in that box, which he does a great job of taking his first touch, comes back. Good block by Wilmington. And then Ross obviously strikes it first time, which is a good idea.
Jeff Nishad unable to pick it up before Ross got to it, looking for his first tally of the season. See Cincinnati right now looking for an equalizer. Pat McMahon will send it out across midfield, headed down by Peroni. Nishad working into the offensive third. Lawal back to Nishad. Nishad loses. Harrison Delbridge takes a shot with the left foot, and it goes wide. A nifty move, however, by Jeff Nishad out of West Palm Beach, Florida.
Yeah, he looks to be dangerous. He cut inside off of his right foot back onto his left. But there's been a couple of attacks now where him and Miller are starting to link up. So again, I think Kenny Walker and Ross Tomaselli just got to be quick in that trying. As soon as they lose it, they've got to get back and follow those runners.
A bit of a wet Saturday here at Nippert Stadium as Corbin Bone comes to the offensive third. Outside Pollock, back across the middle. Fairclough defends it. Shauna Coley picks it up at the top of the box. Coley somehow maintains control. Pat McMahon into the box and then loses it out along the end line, and a goal kick coming for John Smits. But more opportunities as we go down to the field and check in with Lindsay.
Guys, familiar faces tonight. 3 former Wilmington players actually now call Wilmington home. Corbin Bone, Ross Tomaselli, Paul Nicholson. Nicholson actually made 119 appearances in his 5 seasons there, and Ross is from the area.
Yeah, Ross, of course, is from Wilmington, so his family lives there, and he looked forward to getting to Wilmington and playing a match there in front of his family and friends later this season.
Yeah, this is a big game for all three of these guys too. You know, anytime that you come up against your old team, I'm sure some of his teammates will kind of give him a little bit of stick as they go through it.
Foul at midfield as the rain really starting to come down now, as Lindsay was wrapping up that hit.
It's a yellow card.
And here comes a yellow card. Jeff Mishad will be booked, his first booking of the season. Kenny Walker was there trying to get the ball back into play. Mishad saying a few words.
And, you know, that's what they're going to do. They're going to try to kill kind of FC Cincinnati's quick restarts. They want to get the ball playing. They're possession-based team. It's just a bit of gamesmanship. He stands in front of him, kicks. It's definitely a yellow card.
Kenny Walker, who is wearing the captain's armband today with Austin Berry unavailable, in street clothes, not dressed, again with a quad strain if you've just joined us. Berry not available. Paul Nicholson started in his place. And Kenny Walker wearing the captain's armband for the first time this season. 41st minute, it's 1-0. Wilmington, Tom Gloiter, Kevin McCloskey, Lindsey Patterson down on the pitch. David Ashbrock in the truck producing. Happy that you could join us tonight, whether you were watching on television, listening on the radio, watching on YouTube. Happy to have everybody tonight.
You talked about Kenny Walker. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to feature more and more in this game.
Wiedemann with a shot that's deflected, takes a dangerous bounce and skips over the goals. John Smits was going one way. The ball went the other way. Here comes a corner. Corbin Bone will swing it in.
I was going to say, I'd like to see them maybe take a short here if they could. Draw some of those bigger players out.
That's what's going to happen. McLaughlin. Pollock will pick it up. Over to Kenny Walker. Walker with his right foot right into the hands of John Smits.
Yeah, Kenny can do that. I mean, he's fantastic with, 50, 60-yard driven passes and shots. So he's a guy that I definitely think if he can get into that hole underneath Sean a little bit more as well, I think he's going to cause some problems.
Walker and Berry, the two products of the University of Louisville on this FC Cincinnati club. Walker has started every match this season. Had 439 minutes coming in, so only had missed 11 minutes so far this year. Ball goes out along the touchline as Wilmington is trying to keep it in play. And Michael Meacham took one too many steps backwards. Throw in coming for FC Cincinnati, and they regain possession.
Yeah.
Harrison Delbridge taking his time in the defensive third as FC Cincinnati will set up. Tyler Pollock into the middle, Wiedemann. Now swung over to the near side, Pat McMahon.
Pat's really started to get involved in these attacks too, which is great to see.
John Harkes pushes both of his fullbacks up the touchlines and lets them get involved. That has been the case. We saw it in the preseason. It's been the case in all 6 matches now in the regular season.
No, I love it. It's a great style of soccer.
Lawal inside the box for Wilmington. Sent it into the middle, well defended as Wiedemann had to come back from his forward position, but a corner kick coming. Or did he get it out along the touchline? No, I'm sorry, went out along the touchline. Good job by Wiedemann there not to give him a corner. Here's Mishad. Mishad pushing it to the end line. Did he keep it in play? No. Goal kick for Mitch Hildebrandt.
He does well again. I think he's probably been Wilmington's most effective player coming through from that middle third.
So Hildebrandt saves a penalty kick from Qudis Lawal in the 23rd minute. And then moments later on the ensuing corner kick after the save, because it was deflected out of bounds, the corner kick came and Bruno Peroni put it in the back of the net to give Wilmington what is right now a 1-0 advantage. Tomaselli trying to get it to McLaughlin. It was broken up by Dewey. And now McMahon back out in midfield. McLaughlin, 44th minute, sends it into the middle. Okoli can't get it, but it's deflected out to Pollock. Now to Wiedemann.
That's a foul.
Wiedemann is knocked down, and here comes a yellow card. Second booking of the match. Ross Tomaselli got involved. After the fact, Liam Miller picked up the booking in the 44th minute. Miller came in really hard. And now Wilmington is asking for Ross Tomaselli, who came to his teammate's defense. to get a booking of his own.
Yeah.
Take another look at the foul.
Bad.
Yeah, that's an easy yellow card, right?
That's a bad tackle.
And Ross Tomaselli came in and gave Liam Miller a little push. I mentioned that Liam Miller just signed with Wilmington, so those two were not teammates last season when Ross was playing in his hometown. Free kick for FC Cincinnati, about 40 yards out.
I think Liam Miller might be trying to give him a message too. Obviously, Wiedemann's a dangerous player, so.
And you saw Wiedemann come over and say, it's okay.
Yep.
Swung into the box. Pat McMahon was making the run and didn't get there. Deflected over to Jimmy McLaughlin. McLaughlin with a little space. Into the middle. Smits makes a save. Coley sliding and knocks it out along the end line. Jimmy Smits has had an incredible first half. Got a diving hand on it. There's been chaos in that 6-yard box, and he comes up big again.
He's been solid, you know. I mean, he's done everything for Wilmington. Ball comes in, makes a good save. And Sean does great to follow in too, you know, trying to get those second balls. I mean, FC Cincinnati are hungry. You know, they're trying to get into those first and second opportunities. But as you said, Smits has done a great job.
2 minutes of stoppage time has been added. Wilmington with a 1-0 advantage. FC Cincinnati looking to see if they can regain some momentum going into the locker room. They've certainly had more chances, but 2 big chances in a matter of a minute in the first half. The difference right now for Wilmington.
I think they need to stick to the game plan. You know, as you said, they've created a lot of opportunities. They're getting, you know, into Wilmington's attack in their penalty box. So they don't need to change too much at halftime. I think the biggest thing is just be aware on set pieces again, defensively.
Paul Nicholson to the far side of the pitch, too strong as he sent it to the foot of Andrew Wiedemann. Went off him and out. Throw in coming up for Wilmington. Into the midfield, headed forward and out of bounds. FC Cincinnati will pick it up and have about 30 seconds if they want to push forward and get one more chance at an equalizer.
I'd have to go a little bit longer here. Kenny Walker maybe find a winger out wide.
Coming up at the half, we'll chat with some of the lads who are out there on the pitch today and find out exactly why they signed with FC Cincinnati. Of course, take a look at the highlights and the stats from the first 45 minutes. Wiedemann crosses it in the box. Nobody home for FC Cincinnati. It's cleared out of bounds. And Pat McMahon's going to hurry up and throw it in, looking to give his teammates one more chance. McMahon into the box. Headed away. Ross Tomaselli is there, and there is the whistle from the match official, Donovan Nucha. 45 minutes in the books. Kevin, Wilmington with the lead, but FC Cincinnati has had a lot of opportunities.
Absolutely. I think if they can keep that same game plan, don't alter it too much at halftime and come back out, start the same way in the second half, they're going to get a goal. You know, for sure, they're going to get a goal. They're creating good opportunities and problems for the Wilmington defense.
All right, let's go down to the pitch. Lindsay is with John Harks.
Coach, you're getting some good looks down there, but you guys just can't capitalize on it right now.
Yeah, creating chances. It's a shame, you know, Mitch has a great save on a penalty, and you know, then we fall asleep on the follow-up corner. So it's got to be sharper in terms of the marking. Our ball possession's good in terms of penetration. We just got to get a little bit more in the box and have that kind of clinical attitude that gets to the ball a little bit better. If we do that, we're going to be okay.
You guys have been in this position before where you had to come from behind. What do you tell them at the half?
Just being sharper, to be honest. Just being focused. We weren't. We fell asleep for a minute, and we just got to pick ourselves up.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Great work as always. That 1 minute right now where FC Cincinnati fell asleep, the difference. Mitch Hildebrandt, despite that goal, came up with a big save on a penalty kick, the hardest play in soccer. John Harks was fired up about it. They'll look for some highlights in the second half. FC Cincinnati trailing by a goal. This is FC Cincinnati Soccer. Tonight's halftime report is brought to you by the Healthcare Management Group, providing greater care for greater Cincinnati. Tom Glitter back with you at Nippert Stadium. Today we find out why some of these young men signed with FC Cincinnati.
It means a lot, just being from here and being in Cincinnati. And we really haven't had there's always been a big local youth soccer, big numbers of it, but we haven't had a team to really follow. And people will follow the crew. They're kind of a little bit away, but this is an exciting time because now we have our own team here and can really bring everyone together from all the youth clubs.
I mean, that's an easy call, to come essentially to my second home here in Cincinnati. For me, very easy. Still have friends, still have a lot of memories here, and to come back and play in Cincinnati was an easy choice.
From the first day that I started talking with the club, the excitement grew every time we had a conversation about what was going on here, what they were building, and it was just something that I was drawn to immediately, something that I just had to be a part of, and I think it's going to be very special.
Excellent save, Bubachov! Oh, how did that stay out?
Really excited to be a part of, starting something from the ground up, and then just the support for the club. Everybody seems to be doing things the right way. They're spending money revamping the stadium. John's extremely passionate about the project, and they're putting together a product that's going to be very, very competitive on the field. So, all of those things combined is really a no-brainer.
Wiedemann with his left foot, he scores!
I think first off, it was definitely the coaching staff they put together, and Ryan I actually worked with in college. So just knowing those guys, knowing what type of people they are, knowing their philosophy on the game of soccer, that's what really first excited me about coming to Cincinnati.
With you as both teams have taken to the pitch, they're expecting a larger crowd tonight.
The first people I talked to were John Hawks and Ryan Martin, and just sort of their background was what interested me. Talking to them early on, everything that they were sort of saying about what they were trying to build here was super appealing to what I was looking for.
The players that I heard they were bringing in, and I kind of crossed paths with a few of them personally, and then kind of was on the other side of the field against them, and just a quality group of players and a quality group of human beings. That's kind of a major quality, is kind of the companionship and the brotherhood, not only on the field but off the field. So to find that, and that's something you search for.
45 minutes in the books, still 45 minutes to come your way, but when we return to Nippert Stadium, first half highlights and stats. This is FC Cincinnati Soccer. Hello, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Kevin's mic check.
Yeah, check.
Halftime at Nippert Stadium, Tom Gletter alongside Kevin McCloskey as FC Cincinnati trailing Wilmington by a score of 1-0. And Kevin, we heard from John Harkes before the team went into the locker room, and he said really he felt like the club fell asleep for 1 minute. It came after the penalty kick. Other than that, it feels like FC Cincinnati dominated for that first half.
Oh, absolutely. They've had a lot of chances, especially from their wingers, getting in and around. A lot of service into the box. I think it's going to happen. I think they're going to get an opportunity and hopefully finish one off.
All right, well, some highlights in the first half. They started with Mitch Hildebrandt as we take a look at the Road Dog Logistics halftime highlights. Road Dog Logistics, we work like a dog so you don't have to. A penalty kick for the second game in a row at home, and Mitch Hildebrandt got a paw on it.
Fantastic save. This guy comes up big a lot. He makes a great save to deny them, obviously, from the penalty kick.
Then moments later, the corner kick, and this is where Peroni came up big.
And that's exactly what John Hawks was talking about, just switching off for just that 1 second and allowing the big guy to get in front of Okoli and put it into the bottom corner.
Well, and then a little bit of chippiness as FC Cincinnati trailing by a goal. Kenny Walker got tied up there. 2 yellow cards pulled on Wilmington and a really hard tackle.
Yeah, that's
to get Liam Miller in there.
Bad tackle from Liam Miller, but as you said, it's getting chippy. I think even second half, depending on how they start, if the scoreline stays the same, you're going to probably see a lot more physical play.
When you said it before that you feel FC Cincinnati should just stick with the game plan, keep doing what they're doing, keep creating opportunities, odds are one of those shots is going to end up in the back of the goal.
For sure. They've had possession. They're playing into Wilmington's half and into the attacking third. I think the biggest thing now is just trying to get in behind those last 2 defenders, the centre back or the full back, and then try to test the goalkeeper because he's going to be good from distance.
Well, let's take a look at the first half statistics. Wilmington leading on the scoreboard where it matters most, but the shots, 10 shots for FC Cincinnati, 4 saves for Smits at the other end in goal for Wilmington.
He's been fantastic.
2 offsides on FC Cincinnati. The fouls, 3 for FC Cincinnati. Wilmington has 7. They certainly have been physical. And the corners, 4 chances for Wilmington. That's where they got the one that counted.
And that's where they're going to get it from, either a corner kick or a set piece or a free kick. They haven't had too much possession or build-up play. So they're, as we talked about, they're going to look for that.
Well, the difference, the corner kick and goal by Bruno Peroni. Halftime here at Nippert Stadium. We're about 4 minutes from resuming action. When we return, the final 45 minutes coming your way. Wilmington leading by a goal. This is FC Cincinnati Soccer. Cincinnati and Wilmington Hammerheads FC out of their respective locker rooms and preparing for second half action here at Nippert Stadium. The rain is coming down. Tom Glitter alongside Kevin McCloskey. Lindsey Patterson is our sideline reporter who has to try and stay dry tonight while Kevin and I are here up top. And you talked about the field conditions. Does it affect you as a player when it's coming down like that? The field conditions, you said it might actually help. But as a player, is there a mental aspect to playing in weather like this?
I think if anything, it probably helps. You know, I mean, it's not 25 degrees and raining, which obviously is miserable. The temperature is not that bad. So I think my mentality, at least, you could run all day in this stuff. You know, it's not like you're going to get overheated or tired.
This is like summer in Belfast, Ireland, right?
Barbecue weather, yeah, for sure.
I mean, this is a day at the beach back in Belfast for Kevin. Instead, FC Cincinnati is going to try to battle from behind for the second week in a row. Last Sunday at Toronto, the club trailed by a goal and scored 2 in the second half. Andrew Wiedemann and Omar Cummings score the 2 goals. Let's go down to the field and check in with Lindsey Patterson.
Guys, Tommy and Kevin, you guys were hitting on this a little bit ago about the weather and how it could be helpful. We actually just talked to Coach Ryan Martin, and he agreed. He thinks this weather is only going to help them, the speed of the ball going side to side. So he hopes this rain continues in the second half.
All right, well, there you go. Right from the assistant coach's mouth, Ryan Martin says, let it rain, let it rain. And the fans may not agree, but you know what? The folks who came out, they knew it was going to rain tonight. They brought ponchos. They came prepared. And Wilmington will start the second half. They'll have the first touch as 45 minutes are put on the scoreboard. And Wilmington will work left to right in the second half. Awaiting the go from the match official. Actually, it looks like the 4th official. It's a little late getting back out onto the pitch. He is now there.
Must have been stretching.
I mean, he needs a lot of stretching, right?
For stopping,
not
right?
going very far, so he can step out. And I guess the second half is where the 4th official was the busiest, though,
That's
signaling
right.
Substitutions and whatnot.
Calming the managers down as well.
So here we go. Wilmington puts it back into play right over to FC Cincinnati. The home club will work right to left in their blue home kits here in the second half. Forward to Okoli at midfield. Great ball to knock it off to Corbin Bone. Lost it a little wide, but picks it back up along the touchline. Bone is challenged by Logan Miller. Miller wins that challenge. And now Wilmington trying to regroup in the midfield. FC Cincinnati controlled the pace of play for much of this match. But that 1 minute lapse around the 24th minute.
See if they can switch the play here early.
Following the penalty kick save. As FC Cincinnati goes to the far sideline, and then the goal by Bruno Peroni, and that's how Wilmington is on top. Knocked out along the touchline. Now brought into play. Jimmy McLaughlin, Sean Okoli,
Could have
and
been a
a
penalty.
handball.
No, free kick.
I think it's going to come right outside the box. A handball is called. And FC Cincinnati, who is so good on set pieces, is going to get an early chance here.
Yeah.
And then it was right outside the box. Peroni, who has the goal, got his hand on it. Wasn't intentional, so no booking.
Yeah, I think probably here too with Tyler Pollock. He's left-footed. Last time I think he served it or delivered it in.
From almost exactly the same spot in the first half.
Yeah, if you look at where Kenny Walker is, it might be a good opportunity to play short, touch and hit.
Corbin Bone stands there as well. Bone will use his right foot. Pollock is left if it is Tyler. It is Tyler. Left foots it into the box. Skips by, and there it is! The goal! No, they're going to say Paul Nicholson, getting his first start of the season, was offsides.
I think he's actually going to go just to make sure. The referee hasn't given a ruling yet. He might still call us a goal.
Paul Nicholson broke free, punched it past John Smits. And the officials are talking it over on the far side. It's a goal! Yes. Paul Nicholson gives FC Cincinnati an equalizer early in the second half.
Yeah, that definitely wasn't offside.
And now Wilmington is going to surround Donovan Nucha. As we get a chance to look at it, it didn't look like Paul Nicholson was offsides. He's not. Paul Nicholson making his first start is into the book.
Great finish. More like a center forward than a center back there.
Playing forward on the set piece. Nicholson against his former club gets his first goal of the season. He had only played 47 minutes all year in 2 previous matches. In the 47th minute here, he tallies for FC Cincinnati, and it is 1-1, much to the chagrin of Wilmington, who is having a long conversation with Donovan Nucha. And it was interesting. Nucha went to his linesman, had the conversation. John Smits was over there arguing with Nucha. Now it's Peroni finally walking away, and play will finally resume after a long delay and a goal by FC Cincinnati to even the match.
Yeah, center referee's obviously always got to give that final call. I think he was in a good central position too, where he probably saw Paul's run. But first look, it for sure didn't look offside.
FC Cincinnati spends a lot of time working on their set pieces in training every day. And it paid off here tonight. Sunday was the equalizer from Andrew Wiedemann and the game-winning goal from Omar Cummings. Today it's the equalizer from Paul Nicholson, getting his first start against a club that he played 119 matches for in the last 5 years.
Yeah, he's obviously a very experienced player. I know we talked about Paul earlier. I know Paul from obviously played at Rio as well. He's a guy that's going to bring experience. Utility player too. He can play in central midfield as well.
Pat McMahon will throw it in right at midfield to Sean Okoli. It's broken up by Corbaz. And then knocked out by Okoli, who thought it went off of Wilmington. Hammerheads will have the throw-in. 6'3" Bruno Peroni will play it along. Onto the right side, Meacham. Now back to Ashani Fairclaw. Fairclaw across midfield, trying to play a long ball for Cudis Lawal.
Good step there by Pat.
See, Cincinnati broke it up, and now they'll try to work in transition the other way. Wiedemann trying to thread the needle to Corbin Bone, and Fairclaw got in the way. Fairclaw, interesting story, last season was traded to Seattle of the USL for Cudis Lawal. Now he's back playing with the guy he was traded for after he became a free agent and re-signed with Wilmington. I've never been to Wilmington. I hear the beaches are fantastic. It's a awesome. Great place to live. So he apparently loved it so much, didn't love the weather like this that he had in Seattle.
Yeah.
And is back with Wilmington after playing half of a season with Seattle last year. I'll say that trade works out pretty well for the Hammerheads. You give up a guy and get him back.
Yeah, absolutely. Good business.
Ross Tomaselli backing it up at midfield. We are tied at 1. 52nd minute, first ever meeting between these two clubs. They'll play twice this season. Second meeting will come in Wilmington.
I think you've seen too, since that goal's been scored, it's been a lot of kind of back and forth, not a lot of possession, a lot of turnovers actually.
Corbin Bone and Logan Miller get tied up. No foul is called. FC Cincinnati able to recover right at midfield.
Good time to build up, just keep the ball.
The home club certainly has held a majority of the possession today. Tyler Polak into the box with a great move. Taps it towards Sean Okoli. Well defended by Wilmington. Knocked out to midfield, but Harrison Delbridge is there for the men in orange and blue. Polak, Wiedemann, Okoli outside the box. Tried to work it to his left foot. Didn't work out. Delbridge knocks it back to McMahon, and FC Cincinnati will regroup.
Got to be careful a little bit with their shape here.
Paul Nicholson starting on defense in place of injured Austin Berry. Picks up his first goal of the season and an equalizer for FC Cincinnati. Corbin Bone taking it wide towards the corner. Stops on a dime. Turns it into the box. For Sean Okoli. Header towards Smits. Knocked away by Wilmington. Tyler Polak trying to pick it up. Is shoved down in the box. No whistle. And it'll come out to midfield. Cudis Lawal, who I was telling you about moments ago, sends it over to the far side. Wilmington now trying to counter the other way. Lawal has it deflected away. And Wiedemann will send it out near sideline, right by the Wilmington bench, where Mark Briggs will hold the ball and send it on to one of his men to throw it in.
It's probably the first time really they've been back into FC Cincinnati's defensive third.
Talked about Liam Miller and all of his experience. He was booked in the first half. He is 35 years old. Mark Briggs, the gaffer for Wilmington, 34 years old. So actually coaching a player who is older than him.
Yeah, and Liam Miller comes in with a ton of experience. You can see he's already been made captain, I believe. So there's going to be a ton of respect between coach and player there.
And he has the experience to earn that respect. Sean Okoli is taken down right in front of the FC Cincinnati bench. John Harks is looking for a booking. He gets the foul call, no booking, and a free kick will come up for FC Cincinnati here in the 54th minute.
Yeah, Sean's great at that. He gets body position a lot, and he makes the defender commit. So,
Shawnee Fairclaw pulls him down by his neck.
I think John's asking for something more.
I don't know that it was quite as egregious, but if you're the head coach, it's your job to stand up for your men, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Also,
yeah,
he had a
sure.
great look at it, too. He was right there.
He's right there. I think what he's asking for is a booking.
Corbin Bone sends it into the box, headed by Harrison Delbridge. Right idea. He collided with Sean Okoli, which may have changed the direction of that header just a bit.
Yeah, good opportunity. He sent it in, and Sean does well to get up.
Bone across the middle. Delbridge got his head on it as the big target, but it went wide to the right of John Smith.
We talked about, John Harks asking for the yellow card. It's important because, Sean Okoli is going to get targeted, right?
Oh,
and
yeah, we've seen it.
Time after time after time. There has to be some type of justice,
Corbin Bone picks up the ball from Kenny Walker. Bone up the middle of the pitch. Tried to go short to his right. Okoli. Wilmington breaks it up. Kenny Walker recovers. Over to Okoli. Gave it back to Walker. Wilmington takes it away and pushes forward the opposite direction. Nice ball sent up the right side for Justin Moose. And getting back defensively was Harrison Delbridge to disrupt his run. Ashani Fairclaw sends it across the pitch to the far touchline. 56th minute. FC Cincinnati, Wilmington Hammerheads FC, 1 apiece. Pat McMahon will take a throw in and give it off to his goalkeeper, Mitch Hildebrandt. Hildebrandt with a brilliant save in the first half on a penalty kick by Cudis Lawal. And then it was seconds later that Bruno Peroni had, at the time, the go-ahead goal for Wilmington. Corbaz across the box. Shot coming, goes wide. A good look, though, for Wilmington in the box, as they haven't had many looks since that goal that gave them the lead in the first half.
Yeah, they're starting to get numbers for, just as we talked about, that first opportunity from there, they've started to play. Liam Miller as well has probably become a lot more involved. He's spraying from side to side. He's going to be an experienced player too. As this game, as it settles, or players are going to be tired, he's going to find probably more gaps for those 3 passes and switches.
Remember, Paul Nicholson was a sub for FC Cincinnati twice this season in the first 5 matches. That can't be the case, as he is starting tonight for Austin Berry. So it'll be interesting to watch here in the second half, Kevin, how John Harks manages his bench. He managed it very well at Toronto. Omar Cummings off the bench into the match, his first touch of the season. He scores what ends up being the game-winning goal for FC Cincinnati. 2 minutes after coming in, Sean Okoli goes down hard and is grabbing his quad. And here comes a booking for Ashani Fairclaw.
Yeah, you talked about the management of the game. I think it's not going to hurt John Harks to switch up and maybe put a couple more attacking players in.
Fairclaw just put his boot right into the back of Sean Okoli.
Blatant foul.
Make it easy. Shawnee Fairclaw picks up his 3rd yellow card of the season. So he's starting to pick him up, as this is only the 6th match for Wilmington.
Right. And we talked about they're targeting Sean Okoli too. There's so many times he's being hit late. So there may be more cards to come.
Sent into the middle, Harrison Delbridge was there, but John Smits got to it first. Okoli had back-to-back goals in matches against Bethlehem and then in the home opener here on April 9th against Charlotte. And it feels like since those back-to-back goals, and the scissor kick was obviously spectacular in the first goal here at Nippert Stadium for FC Cincinnati, but since then, he has had a target the size of the moon on the back of his jersey.
Massive. You know, there's times you can even see it here where he's going to be double teamed, where guys in behind him, and obviously there's screens dropping in the pressure in front. And that's, you know, when you score those goals, that's what's going to happen. You know, they're going to try to take a big threat of FC Cincinnati out of the game, and hopefully try to shut him down. But Sean's been, you know, he's done great. I mean, he's handled this pressure fantastic as well. He's still doing a good job of holding the ball up.
Sean Okoli, an MLS talent without question, who fell out of the MLS because of back-to-back ACL injuries. Didn't see a lot of playing time last season with the New England Revolution, and now playing with FC Cincinnati here in the Queen City. Let's go down to the pitch, check in with the third member of our broadcast team, Lindsay Patterson.
You did mention Omar Cummings. He made his debut and an impact late in the match, and he said later this week, he said he just had to pace himself the rest of the season if he wants to go full goal. He's not there yet, but he wants to get there. He's making progress. His teammates at it, they're just happy to have him back out there.
I talked to the veteran. They call him Big Cat, oldest player on the team. Of course, he played here at the University of Cincinnati. Omar Cummings, 33 years old. Omar Muhammad, by the way, the youngest at 19. So those are your bookends age-wise for FC Cincinnati, 19 and 33, both named Omar. But I talked to him yesterday after a full week of training following playing for the first time this year and picking up the game winner. He told me he had a great week of training. And, you know, talking to John Harkes, he's not going to push him.
Yeah.
He knows he's a guy who can make a big difference and help this team win a lot of matches this season.
Absolutely. And I think John's just waiting for him to be fully, you know, 100% fit, and then from there he can come in. Omar's going to make a big difference. Obviously, we saw that on Sunday against Toronto. And there's going to be more opportunities. Obviously, this league's long, you know. I mean, they're kind of only a third away into the game, so he's going to get opportunities to change it.
Okoli sending it into the box. Corbin Bone wasn't there. Tyler Pollock whiffs on it. And Wilmington will send it out to midfield. Remember, in the USL, you get 5 subs, unlike the 3 that you would see in the MLS or international play. So 5 subs for John Harkes to work with. They are all warming up right now. 7 guys dress that are available to come in as your 5 subs. Of course, one of them is a backup goalkeeper for FC Cincinnati. That's Dallas J., the product out of California and member of the Guam national team.
It's an interesting one with that 5 subs. You know, I don't think John's just going to sub in for the sake of it. There's a rhythm that he has to keep. But I think we'll see some attacking changes for sure. He's got some weapons on the bench that might change up. Because as I said, even right now, you know, possession's been in for the majority of the time into Wilmington's half.
Kenny Walker steps on the ball at midfield, but nobody there to take it away. Misfired onto the foot of Ashani Fairclaw. And now Wilmington trying to get it across midfield. And Paul Nicholson will play back into the middle of the field, but Wilmington picks it up. Keep up to date with the USL all season long by visiting the new USLsoccer.com for everything you need to know about the USL. Tyler Pollock working on the near side.
Nice bit of
he
skill
makes
there
a
to get out of
move,
pressure.
and Justin Moose just falls down as he gets away from him. Then it's cleared out along the touchline by Wilmington, but you heard the big cheer, and it's because of the move by Tyler Pollock.
As we talked about at halftime, Tommy, you know, it's going to get scrappy here. You can see even with Wilmington's forwards trying to hit some of the defenders a little bit late.
It's already been scrappy. 3 yellow cards called on the Hammerheads so far today. Here's Moose. Moose trying to get a move back on Pollock. Instead has to turn it around. It comes all the way back to Fairclaw. Now over to Peroni. He has the tally tonight for Wilmington. We're in the 63rd minute. FC Cincinnati and Wilmington Hammerheads FC knotted up in 1 apiece. This is the 20th season of soccer for Wilmington. Long-standing member of the league. Won the championship with Paul Nicholson a few years back. Of course, last year, a tough year. Finished in dead last in the Eastern Conference. 12 teams in the Eastern Conference. They won only 3 matches last year. If they found a way to get a result and win today, it would be their 3rd win of this season. So already showing improvement.
Yeah. They have some good options, you know, some good attacking players with some threat. So
definitely athletic. Foul is called as Delbridge, and the Wall get tied up right at midfield. Free kick coming up for Wilmington. And FC Cincinnati is going to get ready to make their first sub of the night. We get another look at the foul.
Yeah,
good call.
Same thing. Their target just kind of coming back inside.
Derek Luke, the defender out of Bridgewater, New Jersey, has made his way to the fourth official and checked in. So we will see him check in at the next opportunity. He's played in 4 matches this season, only 30 minutes, so haven't seen big-time minutes out of him, but he has been effective and picked up an assist coming into the match against Toronto, the assist on the game-winning goal by Omar Cummings.
Yeah.
You know, you made some good calls as the gaffer when you make 2 subs and they hook up for the game-winning goal.
Definitely. And, you know, it's early now. It looks like Tyler Pollock maybe is going to come out. Again, that's going to support the attack. Obviously, defend first is his primary job as a fullback, but they're going to want to try to get support up this left side.
Pollock will take a seat. Derek Luke in, his 5th appearance of the season, and he checks in the 65th minute. Dangerous situation. Big save, Hildebrandt. Second save, Hildebrandt. Mitch Hildebrandt comes up huge twice. The first shot came from the Wall, and it's the second time tonight that Hildebrandt has stonewalled Judas the Wall.
Yeah, he's been a beast back there.
Huge opportunity there for Wilmington to regain the lead. FC Cincinnati looking to counter. Wiedemann outside for Luke. Luke from the left side swings it into the box. Okoli and Kenny Walker making the run. Let's go back to the defense from Mitch Hildebrandt.
Yeah, their center forward turns and spins, make a great reaction save, and then back up again. I mean, he's very, very talented player.
Dangerous situation there for FC Cincinnati. Hildebrandt earning his paycheck tonight.
We talked about the sub there. Luke straight away is getting it, delivers a fantastic ball into the back post.
Here comes Luke on the corner kick. Left-footed. Wiedemann tried to head it. Barely got a piece of it. Then Kenny Walker skies it over the goal. Of course, they play American football here at Nippert Stadium. If this was an American football contest, that would have been 3 points dead through the uprights.
Yeah, I mean, it just dropped. He probably could have waited maybe a half second later for it to drop a little bit lower. But love the intent. You know, ball's coming back out. He tries to hit it on the volley.
What's remarkable about this facility is that you wouldn't know, if you just tuned in, you don't know Nippert Stadium, you would not know, walking in or watching on television, that this is an American football facility.
It looks fantastic. You know, sitting up here too, where we are all the way up in the nosebleeds with the 5th floor, but we have a perfect view. We talked about it, I think, a couple of weeks ago with the soccer-specific lines. You can see as well with the attendance, the crowd, they love this. The setting as well, how it's kind of dropped into the ground. It's a great venue for a game.
Great numbers in the first 2 matches. 35,000 fans came out to watch FC Cincinnati in the first 2 matches, April 9th and 16th combined. A bit of a smaller crowd. I haven't seen a number yet tonight. Obviously, the rain probably chased a few folks away, but this club will be back home again on May 14th for a 4 p.m. match, so maybe a little more family-friendly time. 4 p.m. start on May 14th. Your next opportunity to see FC Cincinnati in action here at Nippert Stadium. The Wall across the middle of the field, pushing to the offensive third for Wilmington. 1-1 in the 67th minute. Now into the box. Good defense. Kenny Walker poking it away. It was Michaud who had a foot on it.
You just got to be careful. They obviously learned from the mistakes in the first half, giving away the penalty. They weren't going to dive in at that. Just kind of stood off a little bit. You know, it's a sign of obviously good defending.
The Wall trying to cross it for Michaud. Headed out to midfield, Peroni. Now comes out to the near sideline. Meacham. Tomaselli comes in, does a great job deflecting it all the way back to the defensive third for Wilmington.
Yeah, no, it's solid. I mean, anytime there's a 50-50 ball with the center mid, he's got to send a little bit of a message back to Wilmington too.
John Harkes getting set to send in his second of his potential 5 substitutes. The young, energetic legs of Omar Muhammad 19-year-old out of Columbus.
This guy's got great potential. Well, we talked about that a few weeks as well. I mean, he's very dynamic. He didn't make a massive impact the last time he came on, but I've watched him in training quite a lot, and even in some of the preseason scrimmage games. I think he can be a difference maker. Maybe not this year, but in a year, 2 years ahead.
Corbaz skies it over the goal. No trouble for Mitch Hildebrand. He'll get a goal kick. Andrew Wiedemann's going to check out in the 69th minute. Omar Mohammed will come on for FC Cincinnati.
Wiedemann's he's worked hard. He's worked his tail off tonight to get up and down. So I think he's definitely left everything on the field. Good chance for Mohammed to come in here and hopefully make a difference.
You would think that you will see the big cat sometime in the final 20 minutes, Omar Cummings.
I would imagine.
I doubt John Harkes is done, as he has 3 substitutions left. Mark Briggs has yet to go to his bench. He does have all of his subs currently warming up. They've been pretty much moving around the entire match.
Good feet with Kenny Walker.
Yeah, nifty move into the offensive third. Something cooking. Corbin Bone picks it up, sends it off to his right. I think he thought Sean Acoli was farther forward than he was. Otherwise, Corbin Bone maybe takes a shot and puts FC Cincinnati on top.
Yeah, I was surprised, honestly, that he didn't shoot it with his left foot. Kenny Walker does great. Little combination play, gets in behind. And then right there, he probably could have pulled the trigger with his left foot.
It would have had to been with his left.
Yeah.
His right is his dominant foot. But Sean Acoli was also making a run, and if he's maybe 2 steps further forward, that ball off to the right maybe goes right to Acoli.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Michael Meacham walking gingerly up the pitch. It appears as though he will stay in, and here comes a big goal kick from John Smits. See, every time he takes him, he's sending it easily across the midfield stripe.
Yeah, this guy, we talked about his ability saving, but just even his distribution from goal kicks and even from throws as well out of the back. He's good, very technically sound.
Jimmy McLaughlin has it knocked away out along the touchline. Throw in Pat McMahon right at the offensive third for FC Cincinnati, then knocked away again, much to the chagrin of Jeff Michaud. Michaud is on loan from the Tampa Bay Rowdies of the NASL. Of course, Jacksonville, of the NASL is led by Tony Miola, John Hart's old teammate.
Yeah.
Luke sends it into the box. Well defended by Wilmington. It was intended for Acoli and never got there. Low wall in the meantime, can't track it down at midfield. Quick throw in for Paul Nicholson.
Another sub.
And here it is. Big Cat ready to check in. The University of Cincinnati native played for 2 seasons just across the way at Gettler Stadium. He has never played soccer in a match at Nippert Stadium. He's been training here, and he will check in the 71st minute for Sean Acoli, and I would imagine that Omar Cummings is going to get a nice welcome. You can tell he has a big smile on his face. He calls Cincinnati his second home, and here comes the native of Jamaica onto the pitch at Nippert Stadium, playing back home at the University of Cincinnati.
It's going to be a great moment for him, and what a player he's been. Obviously, tons of experience playing at the national level and for Jamaica and in the MLS. So this is exactly what he wants. You know, he's been coming back from that injury, but now he's back where he wants to be on the field. And let's see if he can make a difference early.
42 career MLS goals. He led the NASL in scoring last season and has 1 goal on his first touch of the year, the game winner against Toronto. I joked with him that he set the bar kind of high for the rest of the year if he's going to get a goal every time he plays about 8 minutes. Here's Omar Mohammed. He loses it, and Wilmington's going to pick it up the other way. Corbaz right at midfield picks up a pair of FC Cincinnati defenders. They regain possession, and Luke across midfield was looking for McLaughlin on a run. It's deflected off to the foot of Corbin Bone. Bone into the box. McLaughlin. FC Cincinnati with a chance. Here comes the Cummings. A right-footed strike, and it goes wide.
Wow. Great volley. Jimmy McLaughlin did a fantastic job. I think Corbin Bone slipped him in. Tries the shot, ricochets off, but great technique, you know. Timing's great.
The Big Cat nearly did it again. Omar Cummings, so talented, and it was deflected away. That's probably why it didn't go in.
What a save again by the goalkeeper.
Here comes the corner kick. Into the box. Harrison Delbridge trying to put a head onto it, and John Smits there to intercept it as the rain is pouring down here at Nippert Stadium in the 73rd minute. Long ball as Smits cleared it. Hildebrandt came up to knock it back out to midfield.
I think Smits has been the biggest difference in this game too. You know, he's come up with a lot of saves.
This could easily be 3-1 in favor of FC Cincinnati, if not for a couple of big plays by John Smits, the native of Canada.
No, I completely agree with you.
Luke back to the offensive third. Chances mounting for FC Cincinnati to get a go-ahead goal, and Omar Muhammad there. That's where you see some of the youth just misplays it and gives it back to Wilmington.
Exactly. You know, I think for him it's just being a little bit more composed when he comes into the game. He's obviously very excited. His adrenaline's probably pumping. And, you know, over that course of 6 months to a year, he'll start to settle down coming into these games and get used to the crowd. And then you'll really start to see what he's made of.
What an opportunity moments ago, nearly to put FC Cincinnati ahead for the second consecutive week by Omar Cummings. But a big stop by Wilmington. Ball played too strong for Luke on the near side. Wilmington will get another throw in. Here comes Wilmington going to the bench for the first time. Liam Miller will check out, the native of Ireland. And Zev Talblieb out of New York City checks in. He played for Valpo from 2011 to 14. He was a Jewish Sports Review All-American. Checks in the 75th minute. Zev Talblieb, 22 years old, so fresh and young legs for Mark Briggs as well as he replaces the 35-year-old.
Yeah. You could tell Liam Miller was just getting a little bit tired going through those runs.
Foul is called on FC Cincinnati. Play on had been signaled, but then once Wilmington lost possession, the whistle blew. This is probably the hardest we have seen the rain come down tonight.
Yeah. Wilmington, you can see they look tired. You know, they're starting to take their time a little bit on set pieces and recover. They maybe play for a free kick or a corner kick again, but make sure that they get collectively back into the game so that they can deal with FC Cincinnati's attack.
Here comes another substitution for Mark Briggs, trying to get the fresh legs out there. Austin Martz, his second appearance of the season, replaces Justin Moose. Bit of a delay in getting action resumed. And now here we go. Bruno Peroni will play it over to Ashani Fairclough right in the midfield. Fairclough falls down as he sends it forward, and maybe seeing the effect of the rainfall. This is certainly the wettest the pitch has been in any of the 3 regular season matches that we have seen at Nippert Stadium. 76th minute, FC Cincinnati, Wilmington Hammerheads FC, all knotted up in 1 apiece.
We talked about earlier, the rain, obviously it started kind of misty, but now it's starting to be a bit of a heavier pour. And now it might come a little sloppy. This is probably going to change the game a little bit.
FC Cincinnati looking to turn the other way. Jimmy McLaughlin, a ball forward for Omar Muhammad. Muhammad trying to cross it, and there you're seeing some of the sloppiness as he loses his footing in the box.
Put it back with the sole of his foot, and as I said, it's that ball's going to carry a lot of moisture.
So Omar Muhammad was looking for Omar Cummings across the box there. It's only a matter of time until Omar hooks up with Omar.
I think the time, and the timing of the sub with obviously Omar coming in is going to be crucial. Sean O'Coley did a great job, as we talked about, with the centre-backs and the defenders for Wilmington. He's tired them out, so there may be a little bit more space for Omar, both Omars, really, to get in behind him.
11,318 the attendance here tonight at Nippert Stadium. 3rd straight match this year for FC Cincinnati with 10,000 plus.
That's great for, obviously, conditions too,
Puts them at 47,000, give or take, quick math, for 3 matches. That's over a 15,000 average to start a new franchise.
It's very impressive. I think even the first night set the tone for it, but we talked about that as well. The city wants this. You can see the Bailey right now.
They've shown it,
They're loving this.
Well, they're partying in the rain right now. Omar Cummings trying to turn it forward. Long ball for Omar Muhammad. He's on sides. Omar Muhammad with a chance. Turns in the box, loses his footing, And maybe should have struck it about a moment earlier with his left foot.
Yeah, again, it's just probably had body position, you know, on the defender. If he cut across him, he's probably drawn a penalty kick. He tries to cut back and gives the defender an opportunity to get it back. This is where Kenny Walker, I think in these, you know, these last kind of few minutes, or not few minutes, but period of the game, I think Kenny Walker needs to get forward and get into that pocket of space.
Harrison Delbridge is going to be called for a handball in midfield as we were watching Omar Muhammad there. Boy, he had an opportunity, and the sloppiness is taking over right now.
Yeah, I think he had, you know, I think he had the opportunity to hit it front post, probably with his left foot first time instead of trying to cut it back. But the most important thing is he's getting into those chances, you know, he's getting into those opportunities.
In the meantime, someone is down for Wilmington, maybe Qudis Lawal. It would appear that he's cramping up the way that he's laying on the pitch, getting attention from the medical staff. It is Qudis Lawal. A substitute has come out to midfield for Wilmington, so
Wilmington, they're going to take their time.
Yeah, absolutely. You're on the road.
They're on the road.
Opportunity to take a point the way that FC Cincinnati attacks. And right now, the Bailey not happy about the delay. They're making a lot of noise down to our left behind the goal that FC Cincinnati is attacking. Let me tell you, if FC Cincinnati gets a go-ahead goal at this point, the Bailey's going to explode.
They're going to erupt. And this is huge. Sean Harks talked about this during the week of how these guys, you know, the supporters have come in and really spurred the team on, especially late in the game. You know, if they've been behind, that game against Louisville, they were huge. And they're going to feed off of that energy for sure.
Qudis Lawal will check out. Matthew Barnes Homer, the forward out of the United Kingdom, checks in. Moved to the U.S. in 2004 to play for the Rochester Rhinos. His professional sheet, Kevin, is impressive and long. 24 different professional clubs.
Wow, sounds more like a
Matthew
golfer.
Barnes Homer. He has appeared in all 6 matches this season, does have a goal this season. 81st minute at Nippert Stadium, FC Cincinnati 1, Wilmington Hammerheads FC 1.
Yeah, this is where Kenny's good.
Kenny Walker taps it forward, and Omar Cummings was a couple steps offsides. The veteran knew to hold up and not try to chase it down. Smits will play it into the middle of the pitch, headed forward by FC Cincinnati. Missed balls all over the place, and I wouldn't be surprised if this game is decided one way or the other on somebody falling down.
That mistake. Yep.
Or the pitch and the slippiness of the pitch right now playing a factor. Ball sent into the middle. McMahon gets a piece of it, but Wilmington able to keep control. Working into the box, sent across the middle. Ross Tomaselli will clear it out to midfield. Nobody home. Bruno Perroni will collect. He has the goal tonight for Wilmington. FC Cincinnati does not have a draw yet on the ledger. Looked like that might end up being the case at Toronto until Omar Cummings scored the game winner. Ball sent into the box. Mitch Hildebrandt is there to collect. Quickly sends it forward. Omar Muhammad taking a run. Heads it forward to his left, and just a bit too strong as John Smith was able to come out to the corner of the box and pick it up. Just a touch softer, and he might get to it and have a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. He great ball over the top too, and you know, he tried to get a little flick on it and get around the other side. You talked about conditions again. I think if it's dry, that probably doesn't skip as well into the goalkeeper's hands. One thing to notice, you'll see FC Cincinnati, they're starting to drop back a little bit deeper defensively. I know they want to win, but at the same time too, they're going to make sure that they don't miss that play. You know, they don't kind of lose focus on that one attack that Wilmington might try to hit them on the break.
Omar Cummings with a right foot sends it into the box, but too far away from Omar Muhammad, and John Smits will get a goal kick. 83rd minute now. I would imagine between a goal, a yellow card, a couple injury situations, we're going to see maybe 3 or 4 minutes of stoppage time when we finally get there.
Yeah, there's been a lot of stop-start in the second half, so I would say about maybe 4 minutes.
Also, remember the FC Cincinnati equalizer by Paul Nicholson. The flag was up, offsides was called, then it was wiped away, and it was a lengthy delay as the officials talked things over on that goal and ended up awarding it to FC Cincinnati as it stands now 1-1.
Yeah, we had a couple of free kicks as well, which probably had away at the clock.
Meanwhile, Wilmington pushing into the box. Sends it into the middle. Harrison Delbridge heads it away. Homer was trying to get to it and could not. Taubleib.
Again, just what I was talking about. You know, you can see FC Cincinnati quickly to get numbers back, which is good. They've obviously got to finish. They've got to manage this game. And they've got to make sure that they take care of Wilmington's attacking threat.
Omar Cummings now really playing a true striker position. He's the only one staying forward when everybody else gets back defensively.
Yeah. You see, even when they defend there, it almost looks like a 4-5-1 as they drop in.
Homer gets it outside the box, dropped it off to Corbaz, and then Paul Nicholson will set a pick and make sure that Mitch Hildebrandt can come over and scoop it up.
I think a big thing here is just getting that energy to come forward, right? You can see Kenny Walker's hungry. He's dropping back to get the ball off the center backs.
Long ball for Omar Cummings. Steered it as though he was on sides, but the ball never got there.
Those longer balls too, you talked about, you know, could come from a mistake. You know, I think they're changing their play a little bit where it's more direct. So they're forcing their center backs to have to win it, which again can lead to a mistake.
We've seen a lot of guys fall out, especially at that end of the pitch. It's a brand new surface. There's no reason why one end would play different. Maybe just more, there's been more action because of FC Cincinnati's attacking style of play. But we've seen a lot of guys on both sides fall down in that offensive third for FC Cincinnati.
Yeah, no, we have definitely.
Tom Glitter, Kevin McCloskey, happy to be with you here at Nippert Stadium. Lindsey Patterson down on the pitch providing sideline reports tonight. We'll be back with you on May 14th when FC Cincinnati will play here at home against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. It's an orange out for FC Cincinnati. They will wear their alternate kits on May 14th at 4 p.m. You'll
See
be able to watch.
Get this ball here wide. This is one thing that second half they haven't done as much, kind of get into wide positions and serve. Maybe back out wide again to Luke.
McMahon picking it up just outside the offensive third.
Now from this position, now you're really putting the defense under pressure.
Sent in for Luke. Now out to Tomaselli. Tomaselli touches it forward to Muhammad. Back to Tomaselli. Try to get it off to Corbin Bone. Muhammad trying to get there and deflects it out along the end line. Goal kick for John Smith. So saying that May 14th match will be on Local 12. You'll be able to watch us live on the CBS affiliate here in Cincinnati. Of course, listen to us on ESPN 1530 and watch on YouTube as you can for all USL matches, home and away throughout the season. Appreciate everybody tuning in via the various channels tonight. Third home match, therefore the third broadcast of the season for us. 86th minute, still knotted up at one apiece. Throw in for Wilmington coming from the far sideline. Peebo Dewey, who got the start today, just his second appearance of the season. Ross Tomaselli over to the far sideline. There's Jimmy McLaughlin working it across the pitch. Plays it wide. Derek Luke's going to be able to track it down. Luke pulling it towards the corner. Now turns to his right. Well defended. Knocked back.
And they can rotate this ball here. Yep.
Exactly what they're going to do. Try to send it to the other side of the pitch.
This is good. I mean, again, this is a lot harder to defend on a night like tonight.
Great job keeping it in play in the corner by Wilmington. And it's deflected off Pat McMahon. And a throw-in will come for Wilmington. And all of a sudden, they're going to take their time again. No rush from the native of Maryland, Peebo Dewey, to throw it in.
Yeah, they've done well trying to kill the game off.
Dewey played at West Virginia from 2009 to 2012. Spent the last two seasons with Oklahoma City Energy. 43 appearances over the two seasons. FC Cincinnati looking for a go-ahead goal. McLaughlin took a shot, deflected. Luke Spencer is checking in with the fourth official, so one more substitution coming up for John Harks. Nifty move by Kenny Walker on the spin move. Over to McLaughlin, just outside the box. Kenny Walker gets tied up and is going to be called for a foul, much to his chagrin.
Interested to see if they maybe go to a 4-4-2 here with Spencer and Omar together. Maybe take out one of the midfielders.
First time that we will see Luke Spencer, Xavier University product, in the match alongside Omar Cummings, University of Cincinnati product. Of course, a great rivalry between those two schools, just separated by about 3 miles. I think there would be nothing that FC Cincinnati fans would like to see more than those two hook up on a go-ahead goal.
And Luke has a ton of potential too. Not even potential. I mean, he had a very good college career. Big guy, great feet, can hold the ball up well and can score goals. So this will be an interesting pairing to see him and Omar play together.
Second appearance of the season for Luke Spencer. Wilmington pushing in the offensive third, looking for a go-ahead goal themselves. Homer fires it into the back of Derek Luke.
It does look like they've gone to a 4-4-2 as well, leaving Luke and Omar into that kind of partnership up top. This is a dangerous partnership.
Yes, absolutely. FC Cincinnati has plenty of guys who can put the goal in the back of the net. One of them is Austin Berry, who scored in both previous home matches. If you joined us late, he is out with a quad sprain. He is day-to-day, will be evaluated again tomorrow. Of course, his club plays again soon, Wednesday at Orlando City B, 7:30. So I know that he'll be right back in there with Aaron Powell, getting treatment tomorrow, trying to get him ready to return.
Yeah, and they've missed Austin. I mean, Paul's done obviously a great job at centre back too, but just on set pieces with his aerial game,
right.
They've definitely missed him tonight a little bit.
His first goal of the season came in the run of play. His second goal of the season, again on a header, came on a set piece. Luke Spencer turns and heads it forward in the direction of Omar Cummings. Didn't get there. Wilmington back in midfield, turning it the other way. Harrison Delbridge disrupts.
As well under pressure there. It's a good turn.
Ross Tomaselli up to Derek Luke.
It's going to be the first time they can see if they can link up with this partnership of Omar and Luke.
McLaughlin bringing it out wide. He's going to let it roll out, and here we go. Corner kick for FC Cincinnati in the 90th minute. Haven't yet seen how much stoppage time is coming, but again, we'd imagine it's going to be 3 or 4 minutes. Can FC Cincinnati take the lead here? McLaughlin will get set to tee it up.
You hear that crowd, the atmosphere is amazing.
The fans here in the Queen City are into it. Long corner kick, Delbridge heads it. Bicycle kick for Omar Cummings. Luke Spencer gets a shot, ball bouncing around, and it's headed out of bounds. Another corner kick will come up. And boy, did FC Cincinnati have a couple chances. Omar Cummings wanted a penalty kick and didn't get it.
He's going for an overhead kick here, is it?
He was looking for the bicycle kick, and
felt
that he was cut down.
Oh, that was close.
Corner kick comes from the far side. Into the box and into the hands of Smith. It comes free. Delbridge with a shot deflected.
Wow.
And big-time defense from Wilmington after Delbridge had a shot at giving FC Cincinnati the lead.
Well, we talked about that wet ball, right? He came out, looked like he had it comfortable and then slipped.
John Harks wanted a penalty kick call.
I think he might have headed off his own.
Oh, look at that.
That's a penalty.
That should have been a penalty kick. Delbridge was pulled down by Smith. Corner kick coming again for FC Cincinnati. Delbridge trying to head it away.
It's not done
Knocked
yet.
off
corner.
by Wilmington. It goes into the corner. At 4 minutes of stoppage time with all this action. Didn't get a chance to tell you that. We're about a minute into stoppage time right now.
You feel like something's coming here. This is a couple more opportunities, but
here it comes into the box. Pat McMahon, Omar Cummings, and this time it goes wide, not touched by Wilmington. It'll be a goal kick for John Smits, but Harks, who was very upset on the FC Cincinnati sideline, and we saw in the replay, of course, we get the chance to take a second look. Donovan Nucha doesn't, but Smits came up, put his arms around Harrison Delbridge, and pulled him to the ground.
Yeah.
That's a clear penalty kick.
Clear penalty. He's obviously trying to shoot on goal, and he's putting him back, which is going to affect his balance. I understand John's frustration. That's a penalty kick.
After all of that, we are still knotted at 1 apiece as it is headed forward to Omar Cummings. He tried to go left to Jimmy McLaughlin, who was not there. A bit late getting to the ball. FC Cincinnati going to continue to push. Boy, have they dominated this game. Give John Smits credit, though. He's made some very big saves.
I think he's been the difference in this game.
And he's going to collect again in the box. Omar Muhammad was looking for the long ball. About 90 seconds remaining in the 4 minutes of stoppage time. Can FC Cincinnati get another good look?
Probably going to look to play long if they can, you know, maybe playing from either the two center backs and try to release Omar over the top, or even playing to Luke as a target.
Into the midfield. Wilmington now a chance at their end. Over to the right, Austin Martz. Martz at the top of the box. Pat McMahon knocks it away, and a foul will be called against Martz. Wilmington's going to take their sweet time giving the ball to FC Cincinnati. Nucha's not watching. Omar Cummings needs to turn around and send it back. Look at this.
He's indicating too that he's out in retirement.
They just did it again. So there'll be more time coming. As now an injury with Wilmington. And FC Cincinnati doing everything they can to put this ball back into play. Mitch Hildebrandt's going to come up and take the free kick. But Wilmington doing everything possible to try to push this.
This referee, he may move him back a little bit. He tried at least.
In the meantime, while Wilmington was playing delay a game, Mitch Hildebrandt was playing push it forward.
Absolutely. Well, this is going to be, probably
these are classic
little moves.
Soccer.
Little moves. Little game, call it gamesmanship or whatever, but
yep, that's exactly what it is.
He's trying to take a little bit of an inch forward. I think here, this is probably going to be one of the last opportunities. He's going to look in for a target. You can see Wilmington are stepping up. So there's going to be space in behind here. If they can get this first ball, maybe a flick on.
And Wilmington's going to make one more substitution, Logan Miller. The fans here not happy with what's going on. Logan Miller can't check in. Oh, he was the player that was hurt. Logan Miller can check in. Kyler Parker. They're trying to get Logan Miller back onto the pitch. John Harks wants to know why play is not occurring right now. Here comes the substitution. Kyle Parker, the forward out of Columbus, makes his 5th appearance. He is into the match. Mitch Hildebrandt will send it forward. We're thinking there may be about 30, 40 seconds of play remaining.
Yeah.
Here's Hildebrandt. He's playing it in the direction of Luke Spencer. Gets a boot on it. Knocked out to Tomaselli. Now McLaughlin in the box. McLaughlin outside. Pat McMahon flicks it forward. Luke Spencer heads it. John Schmitz will get it on his foot. And I'm guessing as soon as he puts it back into play, we're going to hear a whistle from Donovan Nucha. But we will see. We're about 5 minutes into 4 minutes of stoppage time. Out across midfield. McMahon disrupts play onto the foot of Corbaz. And now Harrison Delbridge. Wilmington looking for one last push. Into the box come the Hammerheads. Paul Nicholson breaks it up. Omar Muhammad clears it forward. It will go out. Throw in for FC Cincinnati. Nucha just looked at his watch. He's not yet ready to blow it. Now it's Mark Briggs asking where the whistle is. There it is. First draw of the season for FC Cincinnati. The home lads with a lot of opportunities in the waning minutes, Kevin.
It wasn't for a lack of trying. They I don't know how many opportunities. We'll see the stats here in a bit, but I mean they created a lot of opportunities. I said Schmitz for Wilmington was huge. He came up big. I think he was the difference in the game.
Big saves from John Schmitz today. The goal by Bruno Peroni gave Wilmington the 1-0 advantage. Then Paul Nicholson getting his first start of the season. Gets the equalizer in the 47th minute. Paul Nicholson gets what ends up pushing this game to a draw. Let's go down to the pitch to Lindsey Patterson.
Coach, it felt like a lot of missed opportunities during stoppage time.
Yeah, we felt like we one's a questionable handball we thought could have gone the other way, but I think we're putting ourselves in the right positions, and now it's just got to execute. And I think if come away with a win is what we probably deserve, but we take the lessons, and we got 2 big games this week moving forward.
Something positive to take away tonight. Paul Nicholson stepped in for Austin Berry, and he had the lone goal.
Yeah, great stuff from Paul there to get settled in, get himself a goal against his old club as well, which is a big thing. And then obviously Omar comes in off the bench, makes a difference, and we had enough to win, and great for Paul, and we're happy with that, and just got to move forward for the next one.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Lindsey. Great job down on the pitch tonight. You can come upstairs and get dry. Kevin and I are going to step aside. We will recap the match when we return. The final tally from Nippert Stadium, 1 apiece. This is FC Cincinnati Soccer. Tom Glitter, Kevin McCloskey back at Nippert Stadium where the rain continues to fall and the Bailey continues to sing. FC Cincinnati and Wilmington, a 1-1 draw tonight, the first draw of the season for the home club. And Kevin, Ryan Martin just said it. It felt like FC Cincinnati should have come away with 3 points.
I thought they did well enough to get the win for sure. They created a lot of opportunities. As I said, the Wilmington goalkeeper had a big game in denying him some clear-cut shots. But they kept at it. You know, they turned that possession into good goal-scoring opportunities. Apart from the set piece, you know, the corner kick that they conceded, they played well.
Well, tonight's post-match highlights are brought to you by Toyota. For all Toyota offers, including those not seen on TV, go to Toyota's official website for deals at buyatoyota.com. The high goal by Peroni, but FC Cincinnati found the equalizer, and it was Paul Nicholson, the starter today, punching it in the net.
Did a great job to read, you know, follow up off the goalkeeper's hand and was in the right place to finish it.
FC Cincinnati had more opportunities, but they could not finish. Mitch Hildebrand with that double save, though, too. You can't forget about that.
So we talk about his reactions, you know. I mean, it's 2 saves in a row, and he did his part for sure in the game today.
And then late, the men in orange and blue had some great looks. That was probably the best one.
I would say so, yeah. I mean, that and probably Luke Spencer's shot, but...
And here it comes. There's the Delbridge on the one that should have been the penalty kick. 3 opportunities for FC Cincinnati in stoppage time, but they could not finish. Tonight's moment of the match is brought to you by Cincy Brew Bus, Cincinnati's original and premier craft brewery, winery, and distillery tours. The moment of the match, no question, the save on the PK.
Yeah, great save. Probably reaction, I'd say, more with his reflexes. Great save with his opposite hand too, not his diving hand. Fantastic stop.
Saw the big reaction from John Harks. That is our moment of the match. So FC Cincinnati and Wilmington Hammerheads FC end up in a 1-1 draw. Once again, our final score from Nippert Stadium. FC Cincinnati and Wilmington, 1 apiece. Our next broadcast of USL Soccer on WSTR and ESPN 1530 comes your way 2 weeks from tonight. Saturday, May 14th, when FC Cincinnati welcomes the Pittsburgh Riverhounds to the pitch. The action begins at 4 p.m. For sideline reporter Lindsey Patterson, my broadcast partner Kevin McCloskey, our producer David Ashbrook, and production manager Mike Bacon, I'm Tom Glitter saying so long and good night from Nippert Stadium.